The moment my dad opened that yellow envelope, his hands started shaking. Not nervous shaking, not confused shaking, guilty shaking. And then he broke, full-on sobbing, the kind of crying that doesn't ask for forgiveness because it knows it doesn't deserve it. Because inside that envelope was my mother's final message, a message she wrote knowing he would try to steal from me after she died, and she made sure he'd be exposed the moment he did. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who was supposed to protect you, if you've ever had to stand your ground while people tried to take what was rightfully yours, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe for more real, powerful stories like this. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? Because this story, this one hits deep. My name is Elena Voss, and I was 17 years old when I learned something most people don't realize until it's too late. Not all family wants what's best for you. It was raining the day my mom died. Not soft rain, not peaceful rain, the kind that hits the windows like it's trying to get inside, like it knows something is wrong. I sat beside her hospital bed, holding her hand. It didn't feel like her hand anymore. Too light, too fragile. Like if I held on too tight, it might disappear completely. My mom, Sophia Voss, was only 41. She was an art teacher, the kind of teacher students cried over when they graduated, the kind who painted murals in children's hospitals on weekends, even while fighting breast cancer for 19 months. Chemo, radiation, endless nights. I'd hear her throwing up in the bathroom, and then 10 minutes later, she'd be back in bed grading papers. That's who she was. Strong. Too strong. In her last week, she could barely speak. But one afternoon, she pulled me closer, her fingers trembling slightly as they wrapped around mine, and she whispered, "Everything important is with Elena Ramirez." I frowned. I didn't know who that was. She continued, struggling for breath. "Call her when they come for the money." When, not if. My chest tightened. "What do you mean, Mom?" But she just looked at me with this sad, knowing smile. "Promise me." So I did. I promised. And a few days later, she was gone. You know who wasn't there? My father, Marcus Voss. Not once in 19 months. Not when she lost her hair. Not when she sold her art studio to pay medical bills. Not even on her last day. The only thing he sent was a text the morning after. "Sorry for your loss." That was it. No call, no visit, just a message, like she was a stranger. At the funeral, people cried. Her students, her coworkers, my Aunt Lydia, people who actually knew her. Then my dad showed up, late, with his new wife, Carla, the woman he had been seeing while my mom was dying. She wore designer sunglasses indoors and checked her phone during the service. That was the moment I understood something. Some people don't feel shame. A week later, I was forced to move in with them. I didn't have a choice. I was still a minor. And what they gave me wasn't even a room. It was a converted laundry space in the basement, a mattress on the floor, one flickering bulb, and the constant hum of the dryer. That night, I couldn't sleep, not because of the noise, because of what I heard upstairs. Carla's voice, sharp, calculating. "So, how soon can we access the inheritance?" Silence. Then my dad muttering something I couldn't hear. Carla laughed. "She's just a kid. She doesn't need that kind of money." I didn't cry. I didn't react. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, memorizing every word. It started small. Dinner without a plate for me, snide comments, cold looks. Then one night, during dessert, Carla smiled sweetly and said, "Elena, your mom left you quite a bit, right?" I nodded slightly. "Well, we're family now. We should pool resources, help each other." Her tone was soft, but her eyes weren't. I swallowed. "It's in a trust." Her smile twitched. "Trusts can be fixed." 2 weeks later, I came home to papers on the table. Legal papers. A petition to make my dad guardian of my estate, meaning he would control everything, every dollar. "Just sign it," he said casually. "It's for your own good." My stomach dropped. That was the moment I realized this wasn't about helping me. This was about taking everything. That weekend, I went to my Aunt Lydia's house, and for the first time, I made the call. "Elena Ramirez?" Her voice was calm, steady. "Yes, I've been expecting you." Her office was small, simple, but she wasn't. She had presence, the kind that makes people stop talking. She explained everything. My mom had set up an irrevocable trust 16 months earlier. $350,000. Life insurance, savings, studio sale, untouchable. No parent, no court, no manipulation could access it. I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Relief. Then she reached into her desk and pulled out a yellow envelope, my mom's handwriting. "For Marcus, open only when he tries to take what isn't his." My hands trembled. She knew. She knew all along. When I got home, my things were outside, in garbage bags, soaked in rain. My mom's sketchbooks, her paintbrushes, her necklace, all thrown out. Carla stood on the porch. We needed space. Something inside me shifted. I picked up the necklace, clasped it around my neck, looked her in the eyes, and said quietly, "You can throw away my things, but you will never throw away my mother." That was the moment she realized I wasn't weak. After that, it escalated fast. Carla called relatives, turned me into the villain. Ungrateful, selfish, cold. My step-siblings joined in, breaking my things, mocking me. Then one day, I came home and found my journal in the sink, pages destroyed, ink bleeding. My stepbrother smirked. Oops. I didn't scream. I took pictures, every page, every detail, because I was done reacting. Now I was documenting. At a family dinner, Carla performed. Tears, lies, manipulation. She sits on all that money while we struggle. People nodded, until one voice spoke, Uncle Raphael, quiet, observant. "Has anyone actually read the trust?" Silence. Later, he pulled me aside. "Your dad asked me to find a loophole. He refused. That was all I needed. One person, one truth." Then Carla tried one last tactic. Guilt. She sent my stepsister. "If you don't help, I can't go to college." Then she cornered me herself. "You're as cold as your mother." That was it. I looked at her, completely calm. "Don't talk about my mother." She smirked. "Or what?" I tilted my head slightly. "You'll find out on Friday." Friday morning, Attorney Ramirez's office. They walked in confident, smiling, like they had already won. Then everything collapsed. Ramirez explained the trust. Untouchable, final. Carla's smile disappeared. Then came the first bomb. She had called the bank, pretended to be my guardian, tried to access the funds. Fraud. My dad turned to her slowly. "You did what?" But it wasn't over. Ramirez placed the yellow envelope on the table. Silence filled the room, heavy, suffocating. Then she opened it and read. Every word hit like a hammer, calling him weak, calling him out, exposing everything. By the end, my father was crying. Not soft tears, broken ones. Carla stormed out, slamming the door. And just like that, they lost. The house changed after that. Silent, tense. Carla turned on him. Relatives turned on her. Truth has a way of spreading. I focused on school, on leaving, on surviving. On my 18th birthday, I walked out, with my head high, my future secure, my mother's love still protecting me. My dad stood at the door, smaller somehow. "Good luck," he said. I nodded. "Goodbye." And I closed the door. Quietly, just like my mom used to. My mom didn't teach me revenge. She taught me something better. Preparation, boundaries, strength. Because real protection isn't loud. It's built in silence, long before the storm comes. If this story hit you, if you felt that moment of justice, hit like, subscribe for more real, powerful stories, and tell me in the comments, what's the hardest boundary you've ever had to protect? Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say no.